Hey guys, it's Kieran. In this video, I'm going to go through the most simple and scalable online fitness coaching business model there is out in the market, how exactly my clients are getting results using this, and how it all works. So this is for people who are personal trainers or online fitness coaches who are sick of sending cold DMs, who are sick of wasting money on ads, things like that. And just to really break it down on the most simple way that you can structure your business, how you can generate clients easily, and how you can get crazy results for your clients. So yeah, strap in and let's get into it. So there's kind of like two parts to it. One is the client acquisition mechanism. So this is how we're getting people into the business, right? The second part is the results mechanism. So when people come in, how are they coming out, right? They need to be improved. They need to have had a positive experience. They need to have gotten the result that they want, so that then you can use this in your marketing and get this sort of compounding snowball effect going. Because if any one of these two things are not operating well, you're going to remain stuck. If your client acquisition is on point, but you're not getting results for people, your business isn't going to flourish and it's not going to get bigger, and you're not going to have any sort of compounding effect. You're just going to sort of be relying purely on content, for example, and you kind of need both things to be working in sync. Yeah, so basically this is what can happen, when this starts to really kick off. This is my client Trevor. So basically he was at like 8K before, and then after 46 days he was on 56K. One of the things he wasn't doing properly was just not using his results effectively. Like, for someone who was doing quite well already, if you looked at his Instagram page, it just didn't really look like he was generating that much results. He was just purely relying on his content. However, when we flipped this and really maximized his potential and the results he was getting, it just had this crazy effect that was able to generate him a lot of cash in a short space of time. So first thing we'll do is we'll go into the client acquisition mechanism. Also, this is my client Marcus, by the way. He was able to get over 10K per month in just under a month. And then this is a screenshot of a message he sent to me quite recently, just highlighting some of the results that he's gotten for clients. And just one thing to note about Marcus as well is he had zero coaching experience before he came on board, and now he's killing it. So yeah, I'm just going to show you how it all works. So the client acquisition mechanism, let's get straight into it. So here's the funnel that we use. Obviously, the niche and offer is at the start, at the top, because without this, all of these parts are going to be way more difficult. Nothing's going to be as fluid. You're going to struggle at every stage of the journey. You're going to struggle to get followers. You're going to struggle to, actually convert them into conversations. You're going to struggle to get people onto calls, and obviously your close rate is going to be shit. So if you don't have a good niche and you don't have a good offer, then you need to fix that immediately. Something we do in the program is called Dream Client Mapping, which is basically where we just get crystal clear on who it actually is that we want to target. And if you're someone who is an experienced coach, then guess what? Who do we go to first? We look at who has gotten the very best results in the program, who's the easiest to work with, and what's the majority of people coming through the door. Like, what kind of person, what kind of goal is who has the highest close percentage on calls, right? So you need to dial in. That's obviously if you've got the data to work with. If you don't, then you need to sort of map it out as best as you can. But if you've got those two things, right, if you just focus on the majority of people in your program who get the very best results, that's real life data that then you can use to narrow down your offer and your niche. However, if you don't have those things, then basically you just need to you're just kind of going off theory to begin with, which is okay, right? But you should really start with someone who's been in your shoes before, maybe yourself from before you achieved a transformation of such, and really focus on those people, because those are the people who you're going to resonate with the most. But you really want to dig deep on this, like who they are, what they do, their past experience, you know, red flags, green flags, who you really would love to work with, who could you work with forever, red flags, who would you hate to work with, all of this sort of stuff. Really map it out on a really specific level. When you've nailed the niche and the offer, and it's aligned with you, and you're confident and you're happy about what you have and what you can offer these people, then it's just a case of, you know, actually getting it in front of people. So actually talking about things that they really care about. You know, one of the parts of doing that is actually leveraging other people's data. So you want to have a way of generating content ideas that is not just based on how you feel, but it's actually based on what's working for other people who are either direct competitors or just in a similar niche. And what you can do is then you can start to craft your content strategy in a way that's leveraging the things that the algorithm wants to see, and also like a combination of what the algorithm wants to see and a combination of what your niche wants to know. And these things combined, mixed with your own personality, your own quirks, because those are the things that people can't have. Your individual quirks and personality, those are the things that can't be replicated. So in the day and age of the personal brand, obviously you need to have a good deal of that in there as well. And slowly you'll start resonate with people. People will start following you. The thing about marketing and social media is it compounds over time. So you might feel like it's a bit slow at the start, but if you do everything right, each stage, if you do everything very, very good, very correctly, then when it gets to the point of it starting to snowball a little bit, everything's going to be very fluid. The machine's going to be working well, and everything's just going to feel very easy. You're going to have a lot of freedom. But yeah, so, you know, using the likes of TikTok and Instagram, which are the most common ones, to generate a lot of traffic, right? We all know that's what they're good at. Short form content is good at getting traffic, lots of views, right? And then it's what you do with those views, right? Which usually, well, in our case, we get them to YouTube. In other people's case, they send them straight to an application. Now, what are the downsides of that is an application, you're just relying purely on people watching short form content to then want to reach out and be coached by you. Now, that's going to actually result in less committed people who are not emotionally invested in what you're doing. Your ability to get people on calls will be lower. Your close rate will be lower. The benefit of directing people to YouTube first is you're actually getting a lot more watch time under your belt. You're educating them more, you're nurturing them more. You're essentially priming their brain to want to be coached, right? So by missing out this step, it's actually going to hurt your business. However, if you funnel people through YouTube before they book a call, you're going to be in a much better position, because YouTube is like a Trojan horse, really. Like a VSL, for example, right, is basically like a Trojan horse landing page where you're basically just selling them on what you do, but it's in a more subtle and raw and natural way, right? And that's going to result in you booking calls straight from YouTube, okay? But don't forget that, like, when people follow you on Instagram, for example, this is the main hub, because TikTok, there's a lot of features that it doesn't have, like the DM system's not as good, stories, stuff, things like that. So ideally, you want to be basically taking people who land on your TikTok, trying to get them to Instagram, because Instagram is like your website. Instagram's like the main hub, where everything's going on. You can speak to people. You can nurture them with stories, with reels, everything. Okay, and then from Instagram, you're going to get people to YouTube, because you want to be talking to people. So when people give you a follow on Instagram, sometimes they'll just go straight there, right? However, you still want to have a nice selection of valuable resources that will be personalized. Like if you have a variety of topics going on your YouTube, when you're talking to people about things that they're experiencing and their struggles, it kind of it just kind of creates a bit more of goodwill if you're able to say, look, man, I've got a video here that really might help you out, and then you just send them it, and then that's one thing that you've done for them. So by the time it gets to you wanting to offer a call, they kind of feel a little bit obliged to like want to actually jump on a call with you. So it kind of works in that way as well. So it just kind of makes everything feel a bit more like you're giving a lot more value away up front, right? Whereas like Instagram, TikTok, it's just 30 to 60-second videos. You can't really get deep on any particular topic. They aren't seeing you talk naturally, like in a raw way. It A lot of the time, the reels and short form, it's like scripted, isn't it? Like you plan it. Whereas on YouTube, if I had to script this whole video and talk from a script, that would be too much work. So it's more raw, it's more natural. People value that more. They connect with you more. So that's why YouTube is super important. Now, here's what it looks like from a sort of ecosystem point of view. You've got the traffic coming in here via Reels and TikTok. Then what happens is they might go straight to your bio link, right? Or they just follow you, right? A lot of the time they will go here as well. And then what happens is they can get caught up in this. Well, they might just book a call straight away. That's a very big possibility. But only 3% of people who actually land on your page will have that kind of buyer awareness and will be at that point of wanting to say, fuck yeah, let's go. However, most people will probably give you a follow and check out your VSL if they're interested. Now, even that in itself is strange. The process of getting someone from stranger to client, right, it's quite a long process. So even you just having this in place, or maybe they binge more YouTube content as well, like within the first day or two, you've already gotten them to maybe halfway, right? Whereas if they were just watching little reels at a time, they'll take much, much longer. So just getting them into this ecosystem where they're now a follower. So now they're going to be watching your reels, your Instagram stories. And if you are utilizing YouTube like you should be, you're going to be promoting your new videos on your story. They're going to be binging more content. And this is going to keep happening and keep happening. Like if all your best ideas are on YouTube and the content is genuinely good to watch, then this is going to keep happening. And eventually they're just going to book a call, right? And in the meantime, they're going to be seeing your stories, good morning post, gym post, client wins. They're going to be checking out what you're doing behind the scenes, your lifestyle, some, talking to the camera, motivational rants, insights. But then if they don't book a call, because you're always going to get them people who are just waiting for that opportunity, right? Well, you are going to give them an opportunity on a regular basis. This might be twice a week, once a week. Every sort of 6 weeks, you might have a bit more of a promotion going on, right? So that's going to result in the conversation and booking a call that way. However, you'd probably be, or if you are utilizing this system here, which is just a social system, a repeatable thing that you can do when someone follows you to make sure that you're taking advantage of and you're casting a wide net over everyone. Because if you're just the kind of person who posts and prays, man, you're probably leaving 75% of the money you could be making on the table, because you're literally just relying on you posting and then people reaching out to you. However, if you go with a warm DM strategy, you're going to have a finger on the pulse of everyone in your audience, and you'll be able to capitalize on times when they feel ready. It might take 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months. You're always going to be there. You're going to be following up. You're going to be building relationships, and it's going to result in a lot more cash collected. And then they book a call. You nurture them with the automations. If they close, great. You get them some awesome results. It goes back into your marketing. If they don't close, it's all good, because guess what? They're back into this whole. They're into this whole system. This as well. So they're just being nurtured more and more and more until the time's right. Everyone's circumstances are a bit different. maybe there's some legit reasons why they can't join now. However, if they're still in your ecosystem and you're providing more value in terms of YouTube, not a lot of people are doing this, and also you're just following up with them, they will become a client, trust me. A limiting belief that a lot of people have is that people will go to the person with 100k followers over them just because of their follower count and their experience, when in reality is if you go too viral and you get a shit ton of followers, one of the negatives of that happening is the fact that you then lose touch with your audience because you can't physically message every single one of them people, right? So now you've got this nightmare on your hands because you're trying to like get through all these people who have followed you, and it's just a nightmare, right? You need to hire appointment setters and manage a team. Whereas if you just kept your content quite niche and you were just gaining like 100 followers a week, in my opinion, that's like the sweet spot because it's manageable and you can build relationships with every single one of these people, and you're making a lot more money for the amount of work that you've got to do, right? So it's just a better ratio. But yeah, so that's kind of what it looks from the bird's eye view, and it works tremendously. You don't need ads. You don't need to send any cold DMs. A lot of people are wasting money on ads as well. If you have this machine working at full capacity smoothly, and everything's optimized, man, you can be making a lot of money, and it's like 90% profit margins as well. It's great. Now you're probably wondering, how are your clients actually doing this without ads? Because you've seen all the ads, all the business coaches convincing you that their automated system is the best on the market, telling you to stop posting content and shit like that. Well, they'll try and convince you that it's the best thing in the world, but actually, a very, very, very common thing that happens is you'll buy into their mentorship program. You won't have the liquid cash and the risk tolerance and the level head to actually see this through to the point where it's actually profitable. So what you'll need the mentor fees and the 5k to test ads. And what will happen is you'll keep testing. This might work straight away for a very, very small percentage of people that happens. However, for a lot of people, it might not be until 30 to 50 ads are being tested that you're actually able to break even or be profitable. So what usually happens is you'll burn a lot of money testing the ads, you'll get a few clients. Then as the market gets a little bit more sophisticated, your ad breaks, right? Ad fatigue sets in, so you need to create new ads. Those ads don't perform as well again until you've optimized them and all these new angles are working. And it's just this constant emotional up and down of trying to get ads to work, and unless you have a literal media buying team who are fully, committed to doing this. So you'll just be testing ads all the time, optimizing them, instead of actually just focusing on what you're good at. Or you could go down this route, which is no more than 15 hours per week, right? It's zero risk because you don't have to put any money into it. You're getting more skill development because, let's be honest, as an online coach, you're basically a glorified content creator. So if we know that and we know that's an important skill to develop, then why are we avoiding it with ads, right? So it's actually better to attack it face on, because you're going to have a business that is more sustainable long term if you have an organic following first. So more skill development, you're getting more efficient and more effective at getting leads in for free. You're going to have a more engaged audience that you can sell to forever. Like if you're just relying on ads, then you have to keep putting money into it, and you're not actually going to have a relationship with your audience. They're just seeing your ad and operating like that. And you also will have this compounding effect that doesn't require spending more money. So, for example, one of my clients, Cody, he came in at like 2k followers. Now it's been like a year and he's on like 50k. So over the course of that time, he's been slowly gaining followers, and it's just more people to sell to. He's able to bank all the money that comes in because he's not spending money and wasting money on ads. So it's just a very good system. You just have to be willing to actually, do the repetition and gain the skills needed. And when it comes to the results mechanism. Okay, this is the acquisition side of things. So over time, you'll want to be improving your service. Now, a common mistake I see a lot of people make is they try and they have this perfectionism thing where they want to make their service the best that it can possibly be before they start selling it, and that's actually backwards. So this, like, you want to do, well, no, sorry. So this is number one, right? Get this going first, then this is number two. Because what happens is you use data to improve this over time, right? And to get data, you need clients. So you need to get people in with an MVP, right? What's an MVP? It's a minimum viable product. So it's the bare minimum you need to get started. So, and I don't know why it takes people so long, because all you need is an app, like OneFit, for example, or Trainerize. So through that, now you're able to make training plans and nutrition plans, right? You can do check-ins on there, and then you've got Zoom to do calls and things, right? So that's like the minimum viable product. You can get them to where they want to go, right, with the minimum. Then what you can do is, now you're getting people through the door, then you can start improving it over time. So a productized delivery is a luxury, right? This is where, if you're niche down and you're getting a lot of people the same result, you can start putting this into video format or text format so that you don't need to keep repeating yourself over and over again. You can just have this systemized step-by-step process of them learning everything that they need to learn to actually get the result. And then you're just simply there on hand in case problems pop up. So a productized delivery on a platform like School, for example, so you can take them through step by step what they need to do. And they're also being educated as well. Now, and a community as well. So when you start to get, 10 to 20 people, maybe even less than that, you will want to have everyone, being able to communicate. So WhatsApp is good. If it's just a small group of people, you might have a Facebook group, Slack as well. And basically just allow people to engage with each other, right? Share struggles that they might be experiencing, ask questions to other people in the community. So it's not just a one-to-one relationship now, it's a one-to-many. And they'll actually get a lot of accountability from that in itself, as well. And then another part of community and also accountability as well is group calls. So one of my clients recently transitioned over to this. He was a bit scared. However, now that he only does group calls, it actually means that people come to the calls with specific questions that they want answered, and it's a lot more efficient, right? You have 10 people on the call, they're asking you questions one at a time. But another cool thing that happens is that people, if one person asks a question and it gets answered, those other 9 people also benefit from that as well. So every time they come to one of these calls, they are indirectly getting more value and more knowledge and more expertise from other people than if it was just them answering their own question, them asking their own question. And then accountability as well. So this should already be in place on a small level, OneFit or Trainerize. They will be tracking their data in the app, and then once a week, they'll have a series of check-in questions that they'll answer, and then simply all you need to do on a weekly basis is go on the app, perhaps look at their progress pictures if it's a visual transformation, look at their check-in questions, make sure they're all good, and make sure their data reflects a good trajectory of where they're trying to go. If it's not, then it's down to you as a coach to identify where's gone wrong, and then make sort of like a Loom video like I'm doing now to just kind of go over their week, anything that you can see that might not be right, and then also be giving them actionable steps of how to move forward in the week ahead. So with all these things, this kind of separates you from the pack a little bit, because if people are just offering training plan, nutrition plan, and check-ins, they're not being as educated. They're not having this sense of community, which is going to make them want to stay in the program for much longer. So it's like there's a client retention point of view as well. But as I said, minimum viable product. Don't get carried away on trying to make the most perfect program in the world before you've even gotten people through the door to test it on, right? Because what happens there is you start creating problems that don't actually exist. Like, your brain starts to create all these problems that do not exist. A problem exists when it becomes a bottleneck of, well, of a client getting their result, right? They're saying, look, I've had a shit week. I've not been able to do this because of this. That's the problem. And then that's when you can take the bird's eye view and the high level to think, well, how could I help them? If another client was to be in the same position in 2 weeks' time, how could I alter things to avoid that even happening in the first place? So it's like this positive feedback loop, right? Where you're fixing a problem, then you're fixing it for everyone else, and then basically over time these problems get less and less. And that's another good thing about one niche, is that a lot of these things can become very systemized. Like, for example, the productized delivery, you're going to struggle to do that if you're trying to accommodate everyone. It's just physically not possible, and there's going to be a lot of things in here that's not going to be relatable to people. So you need to have one niche, one outcome, and then what you can do is you can get all this into a document or a video form, and it's going to help people massively, because clarity creates action. So the more clear people are about what needs to be done and what they need to know, the more simple things are in their brain, and the easier it is to actually do what they're meant to be doing. So that's kind of it for this one, guys. If you liked it, give me a subscribe, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.